Ma'asalama, it's an amazing and humbling privilege to be here in front of all of you. And what I wanted to do is just give you one small point of view as a refugee from this amazing country. Yesterday when I was flying in an amazing airplane, the sun was just coming up in the sky on a beautiful morning, and the wings seemed to dip towards Tyre as though it was saluting its maker. And I could hear Ahlan wa Sahlan whispering through the valleys from Zahli. And my thoughts reflected over 100 years ago to another time, to a time when a little 11-year-old boy had wandered from Zahli to Beirut with his mother, hand in hand, taking a 3-day trip to come to the port of Beirut, wait for 2 or 3 days, find a sailing boat going to Marseille, and for the equivalent of $21, sent him on his way to somewhere. Somewhere because at that time, from 1860 to 1915, the transshipment of all of the amazing Lebanese, your ancestors, my grandfathers, my grandmothers, started this course of crisis management. Once they got to Marseille, of course, it was another 5 days waiting for the train schedules. And the steamship lines used to package these for the kids. And of course, at the time, these were all Turcos. We were under Ottoman rule. So the mothers sent the boys before conscription, before the Ottoman Empire could take the boys at the age of 14 and ship them off to the front lines of the war. So here go all of our Lebanese troops, our little jewels. Our little jewels before they were sculpted, before they were chiseled, before they were tested. The raw diamonds set out in search of the world, to Brazil, to Argentina, to Ecuador, to Africa, to America, on a stressful and unbelievable voyage that you can't even imagine. Steamships at that time, once they got to Le Havre, to be on the steamship was about a 3-week trip. And of course, most of the kids at that time were poor, so they went steerage. Steerage was bottom class. It would take 3.5 weeks at sea. The vomit, the refuse, the sickness, the disease that was apparent was mind-boggling. And when they got there, they only had one thing. Wherever it was that they were going, they had hope. They had an unbelievable DNA that had been carved over thousands of years of strife and crisis that was chiseled into their souls. And over these 100 years, what happened was an amazing thing. And I've thought about it so much because as a recipient of 2 great systems, whatever modicum of success that any of us have, in my case is due to the unbelievable opportunity in America, which my grandfathers found and claimed, and this incredible strain of DNA that comes from the Lebanese. And for those of us outside of the country, we're taunted with the idea of what can we do to leave that DNA in a better situation than the way we found it. How do we better it? How do we carve it? How do we sculpt it? How do we test it? And what you're going to see in the next 2 days is a brilliant presentation of jewels. They're your jewels. They were set out by you in this corridor, an Occidental experiment in tolerance and education, the only place in the world where Sunnis, Shias, Druze, Maronites, Melkites, Greek Orthodox, Jews live side by side and for thousands of years have survived with only one resource, their wits. And as those jewels are surrounded in the world and now returning after a generation of having been chiseled, of having been honed, of having been polished, it's time to make a necklace. And all that's missing is this seamless chain. How do you take diamonds and rubies and emeralds and string them together seamlessly so that the world sees not a jewel, but a necklace of Lebanese DNA? This is your quest. So you're going to hear dozens of success stories, and all of them are pretty much the same. I think what we do best, and I've thought about a lot, is take pain better than anybody could ever imagine. And that pain comes from the training of centuries and centuries of the tiny acts of seamless caring, the art of conversation, the gift of enthusiasm, of compassion, of tenacity, of integrity, of commitment, of loyalty, of dedication. So without boring you, we've got great speakers behind us. My quest to you is that we win back Lebanon in the hearts of the world, one soul at a time. It's not big ideas. It's unbelievable that we're all together. And starting this campaign to reconnect that necklace by these seamless acts of kindness to everybody who you come in touch with, we'll build that chain, we'll build that necklace, we'll set the world on its fanny saying, wow, who are these guys? So my grandfather used to have a saying, which I didn't really understand as a young man, which was, we come back on the road we went, but with nothing. And that's the way the last chapter ends for all of us. So my hope is that we can all leave Lebanon a little bit better than we found it, and we'll do it one heart at a time. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to return and to be here.